Now going to get into Reacts, third time lucky. Olivia Buzaglu, she's a Chelsea fan. She says, Timo Werner was a fan favourite. He was one of my favourites, and I'll genuinely be gutted if he goes to Spurs, even if it's a 6-month loan. His time at Chelsea might not have gone as well as I might have liked, but he was such an endearing character, and I loved him. So that's also one thing we didn't touch upon about, his character and his personality. It's something that is very important to Ange Postecoglou as well, and maybe he's the kind of guy who has that kind of right personality fit for the squad.
So we actually had a Chelsea fan come in on Ange management and say pretty much something very, very similar, saying he thinks that under Ange he could do very, very well with the style of football that we play. And he goes, the thought of having Kai Havertz at Arsenal and now us having Timo Werner from our Champions League winning team makes him sick. So yeah, you look at it, Chelsea fans. I hadn't heard about the bit about him being the character that this Olivia has said, but this is where the data analytics and what kind of profile player Ange comes in. It comes into it, don't it, Sim?
Yeah, 100%. And Andrew said on a number of occasions that, he really values the character of a player, and that means a lot more to him, even if there's a small difference in quality. He much prefer the character. So maybe that's what he's thinking when it comes to the character of someone like Timo Werner. John from Mighty Spurs says, in 2 seasons for Chelsea, Werner started 58 games, scored 23 goals and got 21 assists, playing in Lampard and a rigid Tuchel system. Doesn't sound like a player who struggled. So maybe a bit of revisionism happening here with his time at Chelsea. I mean, maybe the stats suggest, especially when you take in all competitions, which was like Champions League and FA Cup, maybe his time at Chelsea wasn't as bad as everyone's making out. But, I mean, Chelsea. I know a lot of Chelsea fans who thought it was absolutely rubbish. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, well, let me put another spin on this, actually. It just came to my mind is... This time last year, or no, in January, we went and signed Danjuma right at the end, which I said from the beginning was a huge panic buy. For me, that was just in case Porro fell through, so we didn't get another window of signing no one. And I said that Danjuma deal reminded me of a hyena going around the jungle looking for scraps. Well, this one's been done early. Is this an upgrade on Danjuma, which we went through last year? I think is a massive improvement on Danjuma and has been done early. So, again, those stats look impressive, even though we think he was a flop at Chelsea. And I was under the impression he was. You look at those stats, maybe it's not as big of a flop as I thought. But I think this is a massive improvement on where we were with Danjuma last year.
Joe from Tottenham Joe says, we're replacing our best player in our history with Timo Werner. And this is like his reaction to it. And this is Lee Judge's, he's done it again! He's done it again! Well, to be fair, there is that element to it, isn't there? With how we've sometimes not really replaced our best outgoing players. I wouldn't really say he's replacing Kane there. I think that's an unfair assessment of the situation. But I understand the sentiment.
Well, until a blockbuster number 9 comes in, or number 10, whatever you want to call them, it's always going to be this is the guy that replaced Kane. And coming straight after one that is showing his stats, to then you're going, okay, 53 games and 26 goals or whatever you said, and 21 assists, to then go all the way to replacing Harry Kane. It's the both ends of the spectrum, isn't it? He's no Harry Kane. Let's get that right. This is not Timo Werner, under no stretch of the imagination, is a Harry Kane or even worthy Harry Kane replacement. But it's a player that's coming. Listen, like it or not, he's going to be a Spurs player. And we've got to give him our support.
And this is exactly what Jaco is saying from Jaco Katz. He says, Werner under Ange Postecoglou, and it's Vicario meme from yesterday. And let's hope that this is how it turns out with Werner. And let's hope Vicario is doing that after every Werner goal, because that was a great meme from yesterday after Porro smashed into the back of the net. So Jaco's fully on board with Werner coming in under Ange. Mike N says, fingers crossed that Werner is as unsuited to Ange ball as Porro and Udogie were last summer, and he's as bad a signing as Vicario was going to be.
I mean, how to sum up exactly what we should be looking at right now.
I mean, how many times? I think it's a great point. I mean, so many people have had their say about how suited some of our players who are currently doing very well were going to be, and they've really, proved a lot of people wrong. So I think Werner's coming into this looking to prove a lot of people wrong about his time in England. So I think it's a great point from Mike Ken. Kane from the lane says Maddison, after Werner and Richarlison missed their 10th big chance, created that game. And that, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, because I'm sure Maddison's going to be laying them on a plate for them. And let's hope they show a bit of better finishing ability than they've shown over the past year or so. That's for sure.
Yep.
Zeus says Ange got Richarlison scoring again and then decided that wasn't challenging enough, so asked for Werner.
So many things you're like, that's a fair point, that's a fair point, this is a good point. Actually, I really like it. No, I don't. It's true. Listen, the ones that are right, the ones that are happy with this transfer, they're right. The ones that have their worries and concerns, they're right. But we're just going to have to see what Ange can do with him.
I've heard if he gets Werner scoring, he's going to go for Danny Welbeck next.
Oh, mate, we'll just start fucking all these players up. But listen, do I feel that with Ange Postecoglou and his style of management, he can turn players that have been on bad run of forms and lacking confidence into good players more than Conte? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think Ange Postecoglou has got that Harry Redknapp, Mauricio Pochettino, Martin Jol kind of arm around the shoulder, positivity to lend to players. And we'll wait and see.
Michael Hamilton says, all I'm hearing is Werner is rubbish because of his Chelsea days. De Bruyne and Salah weren't great at Chelsea too. I mean, it's a decent point. It's a decent point, but it's also a bit devoid of context. I mean, they left Chelsea at a very young age, and came back after establishing themselves at another league, and then came back to Premier League as like fully fledged Premier League players. Whereas Werner came to Chelsea at 25 years of age, and then flopped, and now he's 27. So it's a bit different, but. It is true. De Bruyne and Salah weren't great at Chelsea, went on to better things, so maybe Werner can do the same. Maybe
and how good would it be for an ex-Chelsea person to fire us back into the Champions League?
I wouldn't mind that as well.
How good would it be to rub into Chelsea's, to give Chelsea some salty tears? That'd be fantastic.
That would be nice. Kane from the lane says, Postecoglou, okay, guys, we need a goal. Johnson, Richarlison and Werner. the classic Lee family dance. There we go. I hope they do more than that on the pitch, but
they need to work on that for celebration.
Hopefully that's them celebrating and not what they're them attempting to score a goal look like. Let's see. Turn the heat off says, it's Werner on the dance floor. You better not kill the groove. I think we got to get that going. Brian.
Oh, mate, Sophie.
We've already got a song for him. Surely that's going to be popping off in the stands.
Hopefully.
He hasn't even signed for us yet. I've already got a song for him.
Sim, we've still got to go to Stamford Bridge, haven't we? In the league.
If Werner scores at Stamford Bridge, that'd be beautiful.
Could you imagine?
That would be unbelievable. But some players have been with us 10 years and don't have a song, yet he hasn't even signed for us. And he's already got a song. I'm definitely on board with this one. Definitely on board with that one. But that is how they reacted to Timo Werner. Now we're going to go into some of the reaction to yesterday's game. And Zara said he has saved so many lives. Speedy recovery, Ben. And this is the challenge that Ben Davies actually picked up his injury yesterday, isn't it? Really good sliding challenge right at the end of the game with 3 minutes to go. And he puts his body on the line, him showing it again.
You could see, Sim, you could see for that corner when he was talking to the ref right before the end, he was struggling, but he's still there to put his body on the line and just be an extra barrier. They almost scored, obviously, how they missed that. But his commitment to the team is second to none. And we hope this isn't as bad a hamstring tear or injury as some of the others we've had.
Absolutely. Pedro Porro on Instagram saying, dedicating this win and my goal to you, Harry. A really classy thing to do for Pedro Porro. There was a really nice moment where the whole stadium stood up in the 16th minute for Harry Pittman, sadly passing away after being the victim of a stabbing on New Year's Eve. And it was really great for the fan base to get together very quickly, organise this minute applause for him. And it was really great for Tottenham to put his picture on the jumbotron in that minute as well. And what a lovely gesture from Pedro Porro. Hopefully his family are aware of that, and hopefully it'll mean something to them.
What I will say with Simeon, with Pedro Porro, is you got to remember, this is a guy who had to deactivate his social media at one point because of the abuse he was getting from fans. And to see, not just this is a class act by Pedro Porro. He is one class. He is the real deal. But to see the evolution of Porro in the 1 year, coming up to the 1 year he's been here, it's just wonderful to see. And like I said, a wonderful gesture from him yesterday.
Absolutely. AC says this is a picture of Son. You can see his knees being strapped there. I think this is in training yesterday. It's important to know he didn't start the friendly today for South Korea, just noting that. He says, considering he just finished playing 310 minutes of football for Tottenham within 8 days, I'm not surprised, but I really hope he's taken good care of during the tournament. As always, no need to overthink, but all the tape says a lot, and you can see heavy strapping on that knee there for Heung-min Son. So really hope he comes away from the tournament unscathed. Obviously, he's going to be probably going to be playing a lot of football. He's going to be heavily relied upon. He's not one of those players as well where they take him off, if they're winning with 20 minutes to go. They're going to unless they're winning heavily. He's one of those players who plays every minute of every game. He's captain for them. Look, I hope that strapping doesn't mean it's anything too serious, but doesn't look great, does it?
It doesn't look great. So, like you said, we've got to put some context. It could be a very big precaution. It could be he's just had a long. He not only has he had loads of minutes of football, he's just had across the world trip. So it could be protecting him from all the travel that he's had to do. So for me, that is just a huge precaution. And someone's taken a photo, and obviously, you send a picture of Heung-min Son with a knee strap in, and it won't go around the world. Oh my God, he's broken his leg. Oh my God, his knee's gone. I think that's a precaution. It's
like that meme from The Office when they go, "It's happening," and everyone's like throwing everything up in the air. That's exactly what happens. Exactly when any sort of injury is implied with Heung-min Son. Next up is an interesting video that happened at the end of the game between Vicario and Sesenon. I do wonder what Vicario was saying to Sesenon here, because he does seem a bit angry. He seems to be having a bit of a go at Sesenon, or whether it's words of encouragement, or maybe he's telling him, look, there are a few times where you were hesitant. You got to be confident in yourself. Maybe use your pace a bit more on those times. But I've never Vicario definitely seemed a bit. I wouldn't say. I mean, one of the comments says he looked upset. I don't know if he looks upset, but he seems to be forcefully encouraging Sesenon in this clip. I do wonder what do you reckon he's saying to him?
I don't know, but I mean, when I see that, the first thing I think about is a documentary with Son and Lloris. Someone that obviously they've known each other for years. Lloris was the captain. I just love how at ease Vicario is at this football club, and the impact and the influence and the emotion and everything he's shown for this football club. God knows what that was about. It may have even been not being there to cover for Ben Davies when he made that tag. It could have been a host of things. But just to see that, even though Sesenon has come back from best part of a year out, he's come on with 7 minutes. Vicario's like, this is unacceptable. Whatever it was, or whatever he's saying. When I think I can't love Vicario even more, you see things like this.
Yeah, I love that he feels that confidence and responsibility to, even though he's only new to the club, he can speak to players who have been here for a lot longer than him in such a way. But yeah, I do wonder what he's saying. Maybe it is a case of he felt like Sesenon wasn't doing enough defensively late on the game, especially with Davis picking up that injury. Maybe he felt like he could have done more. Or maybe I felt like as well, maybe he feels like, look, he may be telling him, look, Sess, in those positions when you're 1-on-1 with a defender and you're late in the game, you've got to have a go at him. You've got to really take him on and have confidence. Maybe he's saying something like that to him. But interesting to see the reaction there from Vicario to Sesenon yesterday. yeah, the Spurs OTM is the same video there. It's a bit of a zoom in, so maybe you get a bit of a better sense of how Vicario was looking in that moment, but it's hard to know.
Sim, I will just say, to add to this though, it's great to see that this time last year under Conte and Mourinho, all they wanted to do is quickly go over, clap us from miles away, and then get back in the changing room. To see this passion and commitment and desire on the pitch as soon as the game's over, I love it. I love it. This is where we are going right now. The passion and desire and commitment from this club, or the players, so I say the players, is there for all to see. And Vicario is a huge part of that, a massive part of it.
Absolutely. Lost says, family man. This is Højbjerg's last minute block. And what an important block that is. You can see 30 seconds on the clock. That is probably, I don't know if it's going in. It's definitely on target, that's for sure.
Yep.
And it's a very, especially with Davis being injured at that point. I don't know where he is in that clip, but obviously he had picked up that injury at that point. So really important for Højbjerg to fill in there and make that crucial block. And luckily for us, we ended with the clean sheet. THFC report with saying Porro and Bentancur, lovely little hug at the end of the game, lovely embrace between those two players. I'm sure they're getting they're getting a closer relationship as time goes on. Yudi says, this is him as a Spurs fan. Oh boy, I'm excited to watch my favourite team play. I'm going to kill myself. Oh, nice, we won. That's life as a Tottenham fan. Yeah, honestly, that's literally 90% of being a Tottenham fan. It's probably summed up in that chart. I think that's probably absolutely spot on. Here's a United fan reacting to Spurs. He says, Spurs have Udogie and Porro locked in for the next half decade, and our fan base is still making Wan-Bissaka compilations. And then this is his reaction, and it's just absolutely in tears. I love that meme. Absolutely brilliant. This is obviously Mourinho leaving into brilliant stuff, and he's absolutely right. Our fullbacks are brilliant, aren't they? And to the envy of a lot of rival fans, it seems, as well, which is great. Axel THFC says, my effing right back. And this was Pedro Porro there after his goal yesterday. Loved the passion from him. One of those passionate players in the squad, isn't he?
By far. This guy, honestly, you see it. I remember Johnny put it up on his Twitter, the way this guy celebrated winning a corner at Luton.
Yeah, I remember that.
After scoring a world-class goal, a pile driver of a shot, the winning goal, he celebrated a corner, winning a corner, like we just won the North London derby. His passion is infectious, and it's what we need. We've had a lot of time where we've had players that are just bad apples. You look at this compared to what you see from a Tanguy and Dembele. This is it. This guy's passion is a credit to the club.
Unbelievable, and you can see he was holding the badge as well. Yeah. Absolutely lovely stuff. Raj Chauhan says, level of Spurs attack without Son is not great, to be honest. Haven't seen much of Valise, but feel like he could have done much better with the combined 98 million they spent on Richarlison and Brennan as their last two big attacker buys. Even Kulusevski looks more suited to playing central now. Yeah, it's a fair point. The attack didn't look great. Hopefully Werner can help relieve some of that pressure, but we're still going to be missing Sonny until he's back, won't we? So let's just hope we can get through this period, keeping the results ticking over while we wait for Son's return.
Correct. Completely correct. Yeah. There's nothing we can say to that. Listen, could we have spent money better? I think people know where I stand on this 100%. Do we need some more firepower? Yes, we do. Is there one coming in? By the looks of it, yes. So we're going to have to wait and see, aren't we?
And that's it. That is all the reaction. Obviously, this is Ange Postecoglou as well, but we can't play the clip. But anyway, that is the react how Spurs fans reacted to the Timo Werner deal, and as well how they reacted to yesterday's third round win against Burnley.